The story begins in the year 1965. The Civil War raging inside America was now in its final moments. Just then, we see a captain with a gold coin in his hand. He was loading several boxes full of such coins onto a ship. CSA was written on these boxes. Suddenly, they were attacked, but the captain quickly brought the ship into the water and shut down all the engines so that his ship wouldn't be detected in the darkness. And that's exactly what happened. They escaped from the enemies. Now the story moves to the present day, where Dr. Sophia was sitting in a WHO van. This van is currently in the city of Las Vegas, Africa. A disease is spreading rapidly in this city. Upon examining a new patient, it was found that he also had the same disease, about which they haven't been able to understand anything yet. The patient's mother revealed that a few days ago, he had gone to Mali with his father, and after returning from there, he developed this condition. Sophia put the patient in the van and spoke to her senior, saying, "Now add him to the list." That makes a total of 6 people. We should quickly give this file to the WHO. But the senior believed that no one would help them with so few cases. Sophia wanted to go to Mali to find out what was happening there that was causing people to fall ill. An internal conflict was going on in Mali at this time, and the senior said that no one would give her permission to go to that country in such dangerous circumstances. Meanwhile, a masked man was keeping an eye on them. Perhaps he didn't like these doctors being there. Then it struck Sophia that she should also take a sample from the patient's father. After that, Sophia headed towards the lighthouse where he was working. When she got there, Sophia saw that he was in the same condition as his son. In fact, he had already succumbed to the disease. Sophia quietly took his sample and came out. In the meantime, a man was boating in the nearby sea. The masked man, who was watching the doctors from afar, suddenly attacked Sophia, but the man who was boating came there and saved Sophia. However, in the scuffle, the masked man ran away with Sophia's bag. When Sophia opened her eyes, she was on a ship named Noma, which is a treasure hunter's ship. The same man who saved Sophia's life was outside. This man came out with a precious idol recovered from the sea. These people were actually looking for that CSA ship, but they haven't found any clue about it to this day. Just then, Almora, the owner of this ship, arrived. The man who saved Sophia is named Dirk. Almora told Dirk that the treasure they found has to be displayed at the museum party tonight, so get it cleaned quickly. After that, Dirk went to talk to a Nigerian dealer. At the party, the priceless idol was shown to everyone. It was actually a tomb of an African king, whose value would be thousands of crores of rupees. Dirk quickly reached the dealer, and there he showed Dirk a coin with CSA written on it. Dirk immediately took the coin and said, "This has been my dream for years." No one ever found out where that ship disappeared. The owner of the mascot company, who had invested money in the treasure hunt, was also at the party. This man had good contacts in Mali. So, Sophia asked him for help to get there. The company owner said that going there was very dangerous, but if she still wanted to go, he would try to figure out a way. A little later, Dirk also arrived and showed the CSA coin to James. He also mentioned that this coin was found by a man living in Mali. And Dirk believed that the wreckage of that ship might also be somewhere in Mali. James was very happy to hear this and gave Dirk and Almora permission to go to Mali for 3 days. They would try their best to find the ship there, and if they found even a slight clue, the entire operation to find the ship would begin. The next day, when they arrived at the port, Sophia and Dr. Jack were already sitting there. Sophia told Dirk that James had said that she and Dr. Jack could also go to Mali with him. And then these 5 people left for Mali. While having dinner that night, Dirk told Sophia about the coin, and also that finding this ship was Dirk's childhood dream. Upon reaching Mali, Sophia and Jack went their separate ways, and Dirk and the others reached the house of the man who had found the coin. Upon reaching his house, they found out that the man had died. His way to the ship was closed again. Just then, Dirk saw a mosque there. The three of them went there and met a man. Old records are often kept in such religious places. When Dirk asked, a man looked in the old records and found out that a ship had arrived at the port there years ago, but no one survived on that ship, and the current of the water was so strong that the ship was carried further away. This information was going to be very useful to Dirk. He immediately went to meet James and told him everything. Without delay, they started moving towards the city of Gao, which is a little further from there. On the way, they found something in one part of their boat. After a little investigation, it was found to be a special kind of soil, which might also be rust. But Dirk said that finding this kind of soil in flowing water is not common. This was something to think about. Suddenly, a military boat started approaching them. These officers kept asking the same thing. "Where are those doctors who came here with you?" The king of the area had found out that 2 foreign doctors had come to his country to get to the root of the disease that was spreading nearby. The king had given orders to stop them as soon as possible, or there could be a big problem. Dirk understood that something was definitely wrong. Otherwise, what was their problem with the doctors? Dirk replied, "Sir, we don't know much English, so let's pull the boat over to the side and talk." Dirk threw a rope towards them, which they tied to their boat. After that, Dirk signaled to his friends to go full speed, and in one sudden jerk, the officer's boat flipped over. Dirk quickly cut the rope, and then they fled from there. But the trouble was not over yet. 2 more boats were waiting for them a short distance away, and they started firing bullets as soon as they saw them. Dirk understood that now they would have to jump off the boat, or their lives wouldn't be saved. Before jumping, they slashed the fuel tank to cause a huge explosion. When the other boat came close to them, the 3 of them jumped into the water. The officers fired at the boat, and due to the leakage, a huge explosion occurred, killing all the policemen. Soon the 3 of them came out of the river and reached a house on the bank. Rudy asked Dirk, "Now we don't even have a boat, so are we going to stop looking for the ship?" Dirk said, "We'll look for that later. First, we have to save those doctors' lives. If they fall into the hands of these people, they will kill them both." Dirk told Rudy to quickly cross the border and go to Almora, and he himself went out with James to find the 2 doctors. The 2 doctors arrived in a village where not a single person was visible. They searched extensively, but there was silence everywhere. Sophia found bodies in a house, and all these people had also died from the same disease. In the morning, they buried all the bodies. Meanwhile, Rudy had also secretly crossed the border. Sophia found a well in the village and thought that maybe there was something inside, so she started preparing to go down. When she reached the bottom and was about to take a water sample, Jack informed her that some military personnel had arrived above, and then the sound of gunfire was heard, and they killed everyone except Jack. Sophia stayed hidden inside the well, scared. Just then, a helicopter landed there, and Qasim, the king of Mali, came. Qasim asked Jack, "Where is the lady doctor?" Hearing the sound of the chopper, Dirk and James also knew that the doctors must be nearby. But Qasim was very angry. He shot Jack and ordered his men to find Sophia as soon as possible. Dirk and James were watching all this, hiding nearby. Qasim's men started killing everyone around. At one point, Dirk's life was also in danger, but Sophia came from behind and killed one of Qasim's men. Sophia was deeply traumatized by the death of her senior Dr. Jack, but Dirk said that they had to get out of there as soon as possible because the place was not safe at all. Now the 3 of them left Qasim's military area and reached another location, but the place they had reached was even more dangerous. Just then, some horsemen arrived and captured the 3 of them, taking them to their king, Godago. Godago asked them, "What have you come here to do?" Sophia explained, "I am a doctor and a disease has spread in your area. I am investigating it." Hearing the name of the disease, she was taken to a room where countless people had died from the same illness. Sophia investigated and confirmed, yes, all these people also died from the same disease. I've come here to find out why." After a little thought, Godago gave them permission to stay in his city. After this, Sophia tested the water there and found that the water in that place had become poisonous. And this could not have happened naturally. Something must have been deliberately mixed into this water. She told the king this and said that they must find out where this poison was coming from in the water. The king agreed and said, "Find out as soon as possible. I will help you as much as I can." After this, James was playing football with the children there. When the ball went a little far, he followed it and reached a unique place. There were strange paintings on this place, and the surprising thing was that these paintings mentioned the ship they had come here looking for. It turned out that it was buried somewhere here in a dry desert. Sophia and Dirk also came there to see it. Dirk explained that 200 years ago there was a river in this place, but now that river has dried up. Now all three of them started preparing to find the river. They were just planning how to find this river when they noticed a fort in the painting. This meant there was also a fort near this river, and Dirk believed that the poisonous water coming into the village might be from that river. The river might not have completely dried up, and its water might be flowing underground. Now these three started their journey toward the river, along the route where the river used to be 200 years ago. Soon, they also saw the fort. After climbing this fort, they saw a solar plant belonging to the mascot company. But the presence of a solar plant in such a deserted place didn't make any sense. Dirk spotted a train a short distance away. They slowly moved towards the train and cleverly sneaked inside. Meanwhile, Rudy had now reached Almora. Rudy found the same red-colored sample on his clothes that they had found on their boat in Mali. When Rudy tested the sample and showed the results to Almora, he was shocked. Meanwhile, Sophia, James, and Dirk reached the inside of the plant. Once inside, they understood that this plant was working to create a radioactive chemical, which would be ready very quickly due to the intense sunlight present there. Just then, Sophia noticed some containers being taken underground. The three of them followed the man, and when the basement door opened, all three were stunned. In this basement, thousands of tons of radioactive and poisonous chemicals had been stored for years. Some containers were visible leaking, which must be seeping into the ground and mixing with a Niger river flowing underneath. The entire country of Mali drinks the water of this river. This is why the disease is spreading so rapidly. There, Almora and Rudy reached the U.S. Embassy with the report. The man at the U.S. Embassy also did not believe that anything like this could happen after seeing the report. Meanwhile, James was escaping from the plant with his friends when Mascot's people caught them. Mascot asked Sophia, "What are you doing here, and how did you find this place?" Sophia told Mascot, "Whatever you are doing in this plant is killing people." To which Mr. Mascot said that he wasn't doing anything like that, but rather they were burning and destroying the poisonous chemicals. Sophia told him that the chemical he had stored in the basement was leaking into the river, which people were drinking and falling ill. Hearing this, Mr. Mascot also got scared, wondering if it was true. Now they started taking Dirk and James away, tied up. Dirk used his mind and opened the back door of the truck with the help of the gold coin, separating them from the truck. Mr. Mascot quickly met with Kasim, and Mascot told Kasim what Sophia had told him. Kasim said that if he was worried, he could certainly close the plant, but his money should be paid every month. He didn't care about people dying. Dirk and James were now wandering in this desert. Their hands were still chained to the truck door. They walked quite far, tied up like that. After walking for a long time, they were also losing hope. But suddenly, they found a broken plane that had crashed in the middle of the road. However, the tires of this plane were still fine. Somehow, they managed to ride the plane, gliding it on the sand, and reached a village further on. Here, they found a telephone, so they called Almora and told him the whole story. Dirk sold the gold coin and bought a jeep. Taking this jeep, Dirk and James went to Godago and asked his men for help so they could fight Qasim together. But Godago didn't have that many men, nor did he have big weapons like Qasim. Therefore, Godago refused to fight. But he gave them his car, which Godago had bought from Qasim. Taking this car, James and Dirk reached the plant, but they were stopped at the gate. The two of them forcefully entered with the help of guns, and Mascot realized that someone had broken in. After that, he immediately went up to the top floor. As soon as Dirk and James went inside, they were surprised to see that the entire plant was empty. So James said that perhaps Mascot believed that people were dying because of him and that this news might have reached America. That's why they wanted to destroy all traces of this plant. James quickly went down to look for the explosives they would be using to try and blow up the plant. Just then, a helicopter landed there. Mascot forcibly took Sophia and sat in it. They were just leaving when Dirk arrived. Dirk had almost caught Mascot, but then one of Mascot's men came from behind and stopped Dirk. Meanwhile, Sophia jumped out of the helicopter in time. Below, James found the bomb in a container, and he took the bomb out and put it in his bag. During this time, Mascot, sitting in the chopper, used his program to turn the solar plant towards the sun. Now all the solar panels started working very quickly. But thanks to James's ability, there was no explosion because James had already disconnected the bomb. Mascot was very angry to see this. Sophia and Dirk got rid of Mascot's man, and then the three of them got into the car and drove away because they had to go very far from there. But then Qasim's helicopter started chasing them. Qasim started firing bullets at them. Dirk told James to start throwing out the explosives he had found in the basement. When James did this, wherever Qasim's bullets hit, there were explosions. So much smoke and dust flew up that Qasim had to turn his helicopter back. But due to these explosions, something happened that they had not expected. The sand shifted from that place, and the ship that was buried underneath came up. Seeing the ship, the three of them hid inside it. But Qasim found out and once again started firing bullets at the ship. Many of Qasim's men arrived there and surrounded them from all sides. Due to the attacks on the ship, the containers inside the ship opened and gold coins started falling out. Dirk couldn't believe that these coins were still intact. Just then, these people found an old cannon inside the ship, which was still in very good condition. Now they started preparing to fire this cannon. As soon as Qasim's helicopter came into their sight, they fired the cannon. A huge explosion occurred in the helicopter in which Qasim was killed. After that, Qasim's entire army also surrendered. The three of them came out and were completely shocked as to why such a large army had surrendered to them. But then they turned back and saw that Godago's men were standing, surrounding them from all sides. Meanwhile, in America, an undercover agent who had known about all these activities deliberately mixed the same poison into Mascot's drink that he was giving to the people of Mali. And soon, he would suffer the same fate that he had inflicted on the people. Finally, we see Dirk and Sophia together. Dirk had left the treasure for Godago and his people because they had suffered the most loss from this disease, and it was their land. The treasure rightfully belonged to them.
If you want interesting movie recaps, like, share, and subscribe to follow us for more movie recaps.